Hey everybody. I'm just gonna introduce myself and um, kind of tell you about my journey and what my purpose or my mission is. Um, but my name's David. So I started a spiritual journey maybe a little over a year and a half ago, something like that. Um, my grandmother passed away, and when she passed away, it kind of triggered, I guess, some soul contracts, um, and it kind of just started a chain of events that took me on a crazy roller coaster ride. Um, still haven't got off it, but so basically, once she passed away, I was for some reason, I guess, maybe drawn to grab tarot cards. Um, so I did that. I always kind of wanted to learn them. Never picked them up. Was in the store one day, decided to buy them. Um, and that was, kind of the catalyst to my journey. Yeah. So, kind of, just played with the cards, didn't know anything about them, read the definitions, the meanings, went about my life. Then my biological father, who was in jail, passed away a couple months after that. Also part of the karmic cycle. And him passing away left me some money that timed up with me getting fired from my job. I was working at the bank, I was in banking 15 years, never had the first issue, did everything I was supposed to. Literally, the branch manager, was actually the president of the bank, literally called down one day and was like, "You have to fire him." No reason, no explanation, some kind of BS bullshit. But yeah, so basically, I was automatic, I have a job. Luckily, there was some severance from where we were doing a corporate buyout. And I had some money from where my biological dad had passed away, so I ended up starting my own business. And I started selling adult products, mostly poppers, which is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with poppers, but poppers are gay men do poppers because anal sex is not always comfortable, and it alleviates some of the pain. It's starting to catch on with women. I guess we talk about it too much, and now they know. But it's helpful for men and female. But that's probably my biggest seller. I saw some other stuff too, but mostly that's the big thing. And what I sell the most of. And it has a wonderful markup. But so I started selling that, or started this business up, and it did well. I had some hiccups, definitely had some hiccups starting it up, trying to figure my niche, getting into poppers. I started trying to sell lube at first, and that didn't go as well. The markups weren't there, and whatever. Didn't even really realize, I think I was even on a spiritual journey at this point. I was kind of just starting my own business and going on that journey, and that was, great. I had a boyfriend. I was in love. I had this business. It was doing good. There were some hiccups here and there, but I was determined to get through them. Life was good. The biggest thing is with this adult product business is the credit card companies are ruthless with them. And they will, it's constantly that I would just be like, my credit card processor would knock down. And I'd be scrambling because I would have no way to process cards. By the third time this has happened, in November, I literally just ordered 2019 Acura RDX, and the next day, I get knocked off my credit card processor, PayPal, and PayPal freezes my account with 10 grand in it. And said that I can't access it for 6 months. And when they were saying I can't access it for 6 months, they were not fucking playing. right before Christmas. New car coming. It was just, it literally flipped my world upside down. And just devastated me. I had no money. Went from having, money, buy whatever I wanted, whatever, and then all of a sudden, just door closed, no money, and I had to scramble. Which I did. I choked through it. And I managed through it. And then at this point, I decided to move my office into my boyfriend's house and have like an office separate from where I was living because I only was in a 1-bedroom apartment. And this is where shit got crazy. So the office was moved. Quite before this, I had a issue. I had hired like a delivery driver. Good kid. Needed some help. But weird stuff. Like I got these instincts that he was playing me, and he was. But then some weird stuff. Like, so one day I'm leaving my apartment, and this freaking praying mantis. Literally, I'm walking out of it, and the thing just like turns at me and stares at me, and just like it was sentient. Another time, I was talking to the delivery driver that was working for me, and his face like changed, like just I don't know. It just like almost like went into a pig face. I didn't say anything, but it just freaked me out. So this is like the start of like spiritual stuff happening, my intuition coming in. Basically, it's like somebody flipped the switch and turned my gifts on, and didn't bother to tell me. That by the way, you're gonna start seeing shit and stuff's gonna be weird, and good luck. Nope, didn't even get that. So I kind of keep it to myself. To try to process it and figure it out. But then weird stuff starts happening, like with my boyfriend. Like something's off. Like I feel like I'm being hexed. Like I don't like. I go there and it's like just this heavy feeling on top of me. Like it's uncomfortable. I can't be there. My employee, I'm starting not trusting my employee. I feel like my intuition is telling me it's something to do with him. My boyfriend's roommate is like throwing bad vibes. Like everybody's throwing bad vibes except for my boyfriend. And it's just freaking me out. I'm finding like items in the house that I feel like are hexed. I found a cursed sword. Just craziness. And then so like I'd go to YouTube and try to confront it. The only thing I could find was stuff that's in Hebrew. Didn't know anything about magic. Didn't even know magic was a thing at this point. Just thought like he was being voodooed or cursed or something, and like one minute he would like me, the next minute he'd hate me. He had two different personalities. And I was trying to why I was trying to figure out who was the personality that hated me and how do I get rid of him? Because 2 years and all of a sudden now he just hates me. Needless to say, like me and my boyfriend did not. That kind of was a struggle with us. I guess in the way I handled it was probably I didn't know what was going on. He was not very receptive to what I was telling him. And find out later a lot of it was because of soul contracts that were in place, and he really didn't have a choice in the matter of what was happening. The universe was determined to split us up, and I don't think really either of us had a choice. And I don't think he wanted to. I think he was more forced to. I still don't really know. But that caused us to split and basically part ways, and not in the best way. It was very like, I'm trying to get an explanation. He shut the door and was like, "Nope, can't tell you." Um, it was just it was kind of, I guess, too hard to explain, and so he just decided to shut it down and shut me out. That was really hard. So, and me, I have to make process of everything. So, long story short, so then now I'm full fledged into my spiritual journey and figuring stuff out. Isolate all my friends, basically go into hermit mode, try to figure this out. Still think there's something issue with my boyfriend, and think I need to be the hero and try to rescue him. Just not the smartest move. He ends up taking a restraining order out on me, and with confusion of the whole thing, I ended up going to jail for 10 days because I was knocking on his door to ask him about some stuff. And unbeknownst to me, next thing I know, I'm arrested and in jail. Later to find out that apparently my mother or father wanted us split up because they had some issues with our relationship, and so they, unbeknownst to me, forcefully broke our relationship up because they wanted me back home so they could have my power that I was coming into for themselves, because apparently my mom's a fucking pig. So basically, I get out of jail. They've packed my apartment up. I have to go back home, which is where I'm at now. And basically, trying to continue to figure out this spiritual journey. So what I've kind of figured out basically is, the name David anyway is it means beloved. He is in the Bible with King David. Basically, me being in Gemini, and I guess maybe with the name David, I don't really know, but I am able to communicate or talk. Not talk to. I don't want to say talk to because I'm really just talking to myself most of the time. But I can interact with the gods. Yes, there are multiple. There is one, like the creator, Yahweh, the big one, which is the one the Jewish people worship, is the big creator, but there are gods underneath him, including the one that is used in the Bible. That's not, but there are multiple gods. Trust me, I've talked to them. So basically, I've been gifted the ability to communicate with them. Most people can talk to Source, and I do have a higher self, and I can communicate with them. But I also can communicate with, the god of Mercury. I can communicate with the devil, the moon, Ra, Hecate, and they, converse with me quite regularly, depending on what's going on. But, I feel like that's a big responsibility. Not everybody is able, not a lot of people can have this gift. So I don't take it lightly. It's not the easiest gift. It's definitely turned my life upside down. I went from having my own business to, being on top of the world to literally having nothing but just like a flip. So, yeah, but, those were lessons that I needed to learn in order to be able to step into this responsibility, or basically to test me to make sure I could handle it. Because I was not gifted with the knowledge at birth, and my family didn't give it to me or pass it on to me. So I had to, basically, the gods had to trick me into figuring it out, which was a fun, crazy ride. But basically, some of the gods that I regularly talk to, Mercury. So me being in Gemini, Mercury is like my ruling god, and then I've got the Moon, which is Hecate or Lilith. She goes by multiple things, and then the Devil. Communicate with him regularly. He is the depending you look at it, you have the Devil, which is the administrator of tests. So, when you're first, I guess the thing that everyone should realize is, we're not judged at the end of our lives. It's not like we're gonna go and when we die, we go, and they're like, okay, it's what you did, blah blah blah. No, it doesn't work like that. You're judged and tested throughout your life until you get to the point where you're beyond judgment, which means that you are finished with your tests or you're finished with your contracts that you picked out. The other thing you have to realize is God. Now, most of the time, God does not judge you. I think there are some circumstances you can you can choose for him to judge you. I know, like if you're named Daniel, the name means judged by God, so that might be a different circumstance. But for the most part, if you so choose, you judge yourself by your own code. If you're smart enough, you may have made this code, and you are living by it. You have your own set of principles, basically like the Ten Commandments. I mean, and you can use the Ten Commandments if you want to, and you can use the Bible if you want to. If you want to stay down that path, but to me personally, that path is set there so we can realize that that's not the option that we are meant to go down. We're meant to be like, that's a bit much. That's too much. It's a little strict, and I want to choose my own path. You can go down that path, and you can go down that road, but you don't have to. There's other roads. There's the tree of knowledge, and there's the tree of life. And basically, you pick. You're the creator of your own destiny. You decide what you want to do. God gifted us willpower for that reason, because we get to decide what happens to us. The gods are just there as guides to get us to go on they can see our best direction, how we turn out our best self, and so they're trying to keep us on that path, and if they see us to divert, they'll try to help. But basically that's I guess the biggest thing with the God. You don't get judged at the end, you get judged during your life. And it's really what it is. It's what they call judgment calls. Like, you have a situation in your life and you need to make a judgment call, and then more so, it's how you react to that judgment call. What happened to you? Like for me, instance, my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend filed the TPO, lied on an affidavit, put me in jail for 10 days. So my judgment call is, do I forgive him or do I become vengeful? And I chose forgiveness because, one, I realized I had a soul contract in place, and he has a job to carry out that soul contract so I can better myself. And one of my fears was going to jail, and so that soul contract was to face that fear. So if he didn't do that, then I wouldn't have faced that fear, and I would have continued in my cycle, and I would have never grown as a person. So I have to forgive him because we had an agreement before we came into these bodies or came to Earth that was going to happen. So I can't be mad at him. I mean, it sucked, and I didn't, it was an awful experience. But I faced my fear, and I'm scary as fuck. I'm not doing it again. But, I'm not gonna be mad at him for it. I have to forgive him for that, you know, that's like, because I know he's in my soul family. He's in my soul tribe. Like, he's my ride or die. And we may be, you know, separated right now and then, but I know he's guiding me, and he's in my soul family. So at some point we will reconnect, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but down the road, if not this life, next life. So I have to, you know, and that's the thing, is you've got to learn to forgive people, because it could just be a soul contract that they had to do, they had to carry out. They might not have a choice, you know. And that was pretty much his case. He didn't have a choice. That person that didn't like me, that was stuffing, like, that was a God or somebody stepping in, pushing him back, and taking control to make him, force him to do what he didn't want to do. And it sucks. And that's a whole nother ball game that of soul contracts. And I get why we have them, to better ourselves, but I destroy my life to learn a lesson. It's hard to process that. Really hard to process that. But that was kind of the gist of my spiritual journey, that I'm, you know, I wouldn't say I'm done. It's a never-ending process. I'm still going. Learning my gifts of healing. Can feel energies. So, you know, like, I'm very sensitive to, like, if I'm being hexed or spelled, I can feel it come on me. I can feel the energies on my body. Like, when the gods talk to me, they'll usually tell me, like, my whole body will tingle when I've got, like, the right, I'm acknowledging what they're talking about, and I'm on the right track. Other times things will just pop into my head. Music, I'll let God play music, because he's gonna play it anyway. But yeah, now it's like every song I hear has some kind of hidden meaning or whatever. It's crazy. And just the things I've discovered that I'll get into later, just craziness. We're just not taught. There's so many things we're not taught. And it's all, but that information is still all right there. Like Disney movies and like children's books. It's all right there when we're kids. We just forget it. Like, we forget it all. And don't think it's important, and it's so important. But, so, really quickly, like I said, so I'm a Gemini with Sun, Moon, and Mercury. Gods I talk to mostly, Apollo, Zeus, the devil, the moon. We go back and forth. Depending on if I'm mad at magic that week or not mad at magic. The elements, you know, they're very important. They're deities. You don't think about it, but like when you do magic, you're doing, like, when you're using that earth, like, they get offended if you don't use them. So do the gods. You know, so it's very, like, try to include like your big people, or the ones that are definitely in your house. You should include them, because they look like a fool when all the other, it's like, think of it as Price is Right. Like, come on down, he shows you, and then, like, you're like, I'm in their house and I'm sitting here. So you don't make your god look like a fool. That's not smart. Because I like Dionysus. I had no idea that I should be including Dionysus, and apparently Dionysus was getting pissy. So now I include Dionysus. And they're very happy with that. So just double check, you know, go through and check your astrology. If anybody needs help, reach out. I can tell you who your gods are. I can pull your chart up. And you know who your people are. You also have to go into like the days of the week. Monday is the moon, Wednesday is Mercury, Friday is Freya. You know, different days of the week are for different things, different colors. You know, so take that into consideration too. You know, which gods you're including. If it's their day of the week, they should probably be included. Just saying. So some other things too. There's gonna be some changes coming with magic. And a lot of people I've already got some not so great reactions. People just, I guess, think I'm trying to be controlling, and it's not really me being controlling. It's actually the gods trying to get a grip on this runaway train of magic. Because people are just coming into it, and not knowing it, and they're doing it and using it, and it's affecting people, and they don't know how to use it. I'm guilty. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, but so we are coming up with a system. I mean, it's pretty much like a driver's license system. So basically, or business license. If you want to do magic, starting after Atlanta Gay Pride, it's basically going to be the transition. Um, think of like the power switch for magic is going to turn off the day after Pride. Okay, now don't get crazy nervous. It's gonna so basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna buy a card or a sigil. And it's going to be numbered, and it's going to have your information on it, almost like an ID, that you will purchase once a year, like a business license, and that is going to turn your magic back on. Now, this being said, the moon is over witches, or Hecate is over witches in magic, and all kinds of fun stuff. You will have to get permission from her. So if you don't use the moon, you probably want to start reaching out on Mondays. And the best way to reach out to Hecate, Lilith, I usually call her Lilith or Nawa, but Hecate is the goddess. They're all pretty much dual. They're all have male female forms, and so that can even get more confusing. But she is over basically magic, the moon. The moon is the goddess of magic. So she will so basically every day, so she will give you, she decides that she wants you to be able to buy one of these cards, she's going to give you a symbol, and then you are going to go to my website or contact me somehow, and then I will issue you the card. But so the symbol basically that she's going to give you is that verification that she actually gave that to you. Plus, we communicate pretty regularly, so I can always ask her. She's pretty vocal. So, that's kind of be the process. I'm assuming that we're going to start doing this process before the turnoff date. So we don't just have a bunch of people with no magic. That people will already be in place beforehand. We're going to get the infrastructure in place, and that way, just like the people who don't know and don't really know they even do magic, it's just going to be off. And then when they are ready, or when it's time to be awoken or whatever, then the moon will contact them, or she'll know. Something will happen. Excuse me. And we'll debate at that point. But the basis of this is that it's really hard to bind somebody who's abusing magic or stop them. And they wiggle out and find ways, and they come back in full vengeance. And so now we will just basically turn your number off. And it's so simple. So your card is going to have a number, and when you don't, I think basically if the biggest thing is don't fuck with free will, especially in love. I think love is the bait. Basically what happened to fucking me is somebody decided that they did not want me in my relationship because they wanted me back home so I could, basically they could use my abilities, my power for themselves. They didn't want me using them for, the person that I cared for. So they sabotaged it and broke it up and took away my free will. That's a no-no. And so then if you do that, there's going to be a penalty box magic section that you're going to go into. It's a set of rules that basically is if you violate somebody's free will, you're going to be going under this new set of laws. And it's going to limit what you can do. You're not going to be able, you're going to just be able to do magic to better other people's lives, which is kind of the reason you should be doing it anyway. So, but you definitely aren't going to be able to control free will. You're definitely going to be more limited. So it's being channeled. Hold on. Let me let them channel so they can get their message out, whoever it is. I'm assuming it's the moon. Yeah. But so basically, that's, it's just it's so we can basically have a system in place so we know who has permission to do magic. It's not just like, who the hell is this person? We don't like it's getting to the point where, like, I don't know if I can feel it. If I go on Facebook and somebody messages me, I can feel the negative energy just being like pummeled at me. That's not good. We don't want that. So this is kind of to prevent that. So people know there's a tracking system now. So, and it's just gonna make life so much easier. And if you abuse your magic, it's gonna be like, okay, deactivate number 75. This person, they're done. We're not dealing with them anymore. They can't, be an adult. It's not that hard, guys. But basically, that's the gist of it. The pricing is still in the works. It's going to be between 100 and 200 is what I'm getting, what they're telling me. They set the price, not me. That's their department, But they think people in that, will there be times that's going to be waived? I'm sure. They will tell me. If they think somebody needs it and they can't afford it, then, or they could, that's, they're the gods. I let them be the gods. Let them make the decisions. I am just the messenger. But yeah, so I am writing a book. So all this knowledge that they have pummeled onto me, it's kind of been, this is like, I guess, this whole process is basically to get us to get Turner to realize that the Bible is there and the church is there, but it's there because we're supposed to realize that is not the right direction. Like, that's not right. The people are usually hypocritical. There's a reason why, a lot of people are turned off from the church, because it's very judgmental. It's designed that way. It's designed to almost be like, it turns you into a hypocrite. It puts you in judgment with yourself, basically. You start judging other people and you're not God. And you only can judge yourself. And that's the gist of it. You judge yourself. God just wants you to live your life. You've got lessons that you decided before you, went down, got on this rock. We are all spiritual beings having a physical experience on Earth. And basically, we just, need to have that experience. And we have soul contracts to make sure that we don't get stuck in our karmic cycles, and that we are moving up and evolving. And that's a whole nother thing. But there's forces out there that don't want us to evolve and don't want us to ascend. They want to keep us in the karmic cycle. Just because that's the process they like, and they want to keep it that way. And you can stay that way. You go to the Bible. You want to stay in that karmic cycle? There you go. Or you can choose the tree of life. You can go into chakras and healing. There's just so many things, but just find your path, listen to your guides. Source is your higher self. It's guiding you. It's basically, you yourself at your most evolved state, whenever that is. Trying to help you and tell you and guide you, so you aren't just like running into walls and blind and all that fun stuff. And there's a whole process for that, with the whole, like, you heal your inner child, it heals yourself, and it heals your source, and then everybody levels up, and then you keep on, and then you become your better self. Craziness. But it works. But basically, so I talk to the gods, you know, and some people have a hard time dealing with that. I had a hard time dealing with that. I just assumed everybody could talk to the gods. I did not realize that was a special privilege. You know, I guess because I just assumed that when people said source, that was God. And no, source is your higher self. God is a whole different thing. So yeah. Divination, so tarot cards, cloud reading, I've started doing mirror scrying, pendulums, all that fun stuff I can do. Sigils, I like sigils for protection. I was getting attacked a lot by my family, of all people. So I learned, you know, to protect myself really quick. I kind of got thrown into, you know, this whole thing. You know, it took me a while to figure it out. I did not come from a religious background. My family, you know, we didn't talk about church. So this whole, like, you know, I had to, you know, get a Bible and read it real quick, and figure out what the hell was going on. And then realize that was not what I needed and had to throw it away, and go down the right path. But yeah, so let me, real quick, let's see if they have any, I don't know who's channeling me right now. Is it you? Yeah, I think it, yeah. Alright, so the moon is channeling right now. Let's see what she has to say. Let's see if she's got any messages. Do you have any messages for the people watching this video? Now Lilith, her flower is the lily. Yellow, purple is her colors. I think pearls. Those are all good things to like leave. You know, moon water are good gifts. She is a big dog person. She will come in your dog a lot of the time. So if you have a dog, you look for her in your dog. Better treat your dog good. All right. Let's see if we got any more. But you know, she's pretty good. She's good to work with. She's very set in her ways. But that's okay. All right. This message. All right. So basically, we have the Ten of Wands. Basically, that just says, don't kill yourself working. You are robbing yourself of your experience on Earth. We are all here as you know, energetic beings having a physical experience on Earth, and a lot of people are just working these soul-sucking jobs. Basically, they're working 50, 60 hours a week to make a paycheck, to buy tangible things, which is the complete opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. You know, we're supposed to be getting away. We're not supposed to be living of the world. We're supposed to be living in the world, not of the world. So just don't kill yourself trying to make that happen. Find your passion. Find what you love to do, and that's kind of the whole, like, this whole spiritual process is part of that. Like, God will gift you with an ability, or like He will show you your potential and open up a pathway for something you love to do, and it's a beautiful thing. And really, technically it's the devil, because the devil is the one who does tests, and as you pass through those tests, he progresses you with that. And then he passes you off to God if you want to go down the true love journey, because God hands out true love. The devil has to give you permission to get it. You have to have self-love. The devil gives you self-love. God gives you... No, I think I said that wrong. Yeah, God gives you self-love. The devil you have to pass the tests of the devil to venture, and then decide if you want because self-love requires going into hermit mode. And if you're in a relationship, that's kind of hard to do. So you have to make that decision, and a lot of it just depends on you, your situation, your partner, the balance of the relationship. If you need it, you might not need it. You might not need any more knowledge, or you might not need that to make the relationship work. And if you don't, then you're good to go. It just depends. Every situation is gonna be different with that. But anyway, just find your passion in life. You know, what do you enjoy doing? You know, and see if you can make money. And if you can, you will be so blessed. Okay, so we got some Page of Cups. You guys are coming into your spiritual awakenings. You are figuring out that there's guides there, probably because you just came to this channel. I don't know, but there's guides, your source. There are your relatives. There are people around you giving you messages. You just need to slow down, live in the present. Don't live in the future. That's anxiety. Don't live in the past. That's fear. Or I did that backwards. I don't know. One of those things. But anyway, just listen to your gifts. Listen to your guides. Like my guides, like my grandmother is one of my guides. My grandfather. And what's really weird is like, so you think you have two grandparents, and when they get into the spirit realm, there's just one. They're the same. You just didn't realize it, but that happens. But just make sure you listen to them. Music. So I am not. Don't ask me why, but I don't have dreams very often, so that's not really a way for me to get messages. But a lot of people get their messages through dreams. Music is a good way to get messages. Tarot cards are a good way to get messages. Sometimes, depending on what your sign is, and if you're a water, air, fire, to shower, it's just because it's peaceful. Meditation, those are all good ways to listen to your guides and just listen for when they're talking. Some people can hear them and they sound like a distant voice. For me, it's more like a thought pops into my head, or sometimes I'll just like take my hand and go bam, just crazy stuff. But just kind of be on the lookout for, like, if your phone screen just suddenly swipes on its own, like slow down, and what is it trying to tell you? You're missing a message, and it's probably important if they're taking that much time to it. All right, so Emperor energy. I'm trying to read this. So you're coming. So you're in. You have access to your power, and you're starting to get the knowledge in your hand, and you're realizing you need to be protected. The scepter. So just be aware. So it looks like you are. Sorry, I'm trying to get these messages as they come. Okay, so it looks like you are finishing you're at the end of your time with the devil. So it looks like you guys are basically wrapping up with your tests, and you're sitting in your power, and you guys apparently have passed. Good. So you're sitting in your power. You've passed. So you are going to have to decide or make a decision. The next card is well, actually, no, you don't. So you guys are lucky. The Hermit's in reverse. So it looks like you guys are not going to have to go into Hermit mode. For whatever reason, I don't make those. That's not my call. But either you don't need to go on the journey for self-love because you already have it, which is what I'm getting from this. That you already have self-love, so you don't need to go down the journey for self-love. So, you guys are pretty much at the end of your spiritual journey. Well, with the devil, with your tests. So now you just now it's going to be more of a figuring out what deity or god or goddess that you want to use, worship, and start like delving into this and not be so scared of it, because the devil can scare the fuck out of you. Luckily he had a crush on me, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, so basically, the hermit. So you don't have to worry about that. That's a good thing. I was not so lucky because my parents screwed me over, but they for sure put me in hermit mode because they could get me back here. So what's next for them? Now that they're done. Got it. Okay. All right. So. All right. So basically, you have some Three of Swords energy, and so the Three of Swords basically means, I know a lot of people think, and sometimes it is a third-party situation in a relationship. It's not always. In fact, most of the time it's probably not. The reason it could be is because the third party is in this situation because you need them to balance you out. But, we're trying right now to break away from this three-party system where you need a third person to balance out our relationships because it just gets in the way and it's not fun for anybody because nobody wants a third. We're supposed to be in a union. And we all got this third person that we need to bring in whenever to balance us. And that's going to bring me a whole nother book about zodiacs and our gifts and what we need to balance our lives out and the importance of that stuff. So apparently you guys have not gone on the journey to get the knowledge of magic yet. So you guys still have that sword to get. So I'm imagining that that's going to be a choice that's going to be presented to you if you want to take that. And now I will tell you this, especially with this three-party here, if your partner already has the knowledge of magic, you probably are not going to want to go down that road because you will unbalance your guys' selves. And, you already know that magic exists and you don't really need somebody to teach it to you. You can kind of learn from your partner and whatever, but if you guys both have magic, that just causes situations where you guys are fighting for the power of it. What we call the wands. There's only so many, and you guys are both fighting for it because you want to do the magic. Like it gets crazy quick. So you have to make that decision. And your guys will tell you or let you know if you should do it or shouldn't do it. Follow their guidance, or don't. It's your choice. So the Empress is in reverse. Means you guys. The Empress basically means that all your cups are full. Well, obviously you guys don't have the wands yet, so your cups are. You're not going to be in this Empress energy yet, but you're working to it. Empress is she's Leo energy. We're going into Leo right now. So you guys just. I feel like this is what's coming to you. Like the Empress energy is on its way to you. It's not here yet, but they're gonna, we're gonna end up making, we're gonna end up flipping this card and turning you into an Empress, where your cups are full. You want to be in this Empress energy, but you don't want to be. You want to be in this Empress energy, but you don't want to be in the worldly part of it, where the Leo, the tangible, you don't want to get caught up on the need to have stuff. Then you're kind of robbing yourself of this experience. But lastly, Eight of Pentacles, if you don't choose the wands, then you will go down the Pentacle path, which is money. And they will, get you up to at least like an Eight of Pentacles, which, your own business, whatever you want to do. But they're going to help you with knowledge to start your own business and, sorry guys, but y'all, it means somebody's trying to channel into me. But yeah, so you just need to decide. You want to go and get the money? If your partner has the wands, then fuck yeah, go get the money, because you need to balance each other. If they have the money, then you don't want another money. You want the magic. So figure out what the other person has, and that's where this whole thing comes into play. It's figure out what the other person has, what they bring to the table. And then you need to balance out so you're not dependent on another party. You know, we don't want to. If it's all possible, we don't want to be dependent on another party because that just leads to issues. All right. Any other gods have anything to say? Basically, the willpower is yours. You choose your own destiny. We're here as gods to not supervise, but steer you and make sure you don't swerve off the right course. You know, and just kind of make sure you stay on course. It's a very process. Okay. But so now I've lost my train of thought because there's a whole new entity in me. Thank you. Seriously though. Anyway, sorry guys. Yeah, that completely destroyed my thought pattern because I have a whole other consciousness trying to tell me something else. Yeah, I lost it completely. Sorry. Thank you. But what do you have to say? Sorry about that. Be aware that there are different sides, and there are people that are going to be sneaky every day. Very sneaky. You know, we just don't realize how much like the family lines going back to Cain and Abel and Adam, like those are still carried on today. And different lines have different things. The devil's line usually has knowledge of magic and can be pretty ruthless with it. God's line does not have knowledge of magic. They have to, if they God is there to protect them, or you know, unless they figure it out on their own. You know, so they're also not bound to not talk about. I can talk about magic because I am not bound by the devil's line, where they are like they literally cannot talk about it unless basically unless you have like a card, which is going to happen. Unless you have one of these cards, they're not going to be able to talk to you about it. Like they'll tell to your blue in your face, they'll deny it. I'll tell you what they don't know what you're talking about because they literally can't. So don't waste your time. But yeah, so I'll put my website down in the comments. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me, ask me, whatever. I'll answer the best of my abilities. I can always ask them. I'm learning new stuff every day. You know, it's a crazy journey. You know, I'm glad you guys are on it. It looks like you guys are doing pretty well. Just keep on going. You know, and today is a great day for a rare day, and now you guys can go fuck it up. All right? Bye.